The battle continues to rage on between Luffy and Lucci, but at the end of the chapter, Sniper King reveals himself to be none other than... One Piece, Chapter 426, A Ship Waiting for Wind.
Oh boy, is the proverbial shit hitting the fan or what? Woo! Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the awesome, adventure-filled Enies Lobby being burned to the ground tale of One Piece. Now, our last chapter, of course, saw the main battle, I guess you would say, the main event between Luffy and Lucci raging on. Luffy looks like he's wearing down. He took a shot from Lucci that he calls the Six King pistol, and just all around is looking... it's looking like it's going to be a tough one for him. And then, of course, we have all the other naval warships were called around to the back side of Enies Lobby, of course, to surround the Bridge of Hesitation, where Lucci and Luffy are fighting inside or on or around one of the supports, I believe. And then, of course, right at the end of that bridge is the escape ship that has Nico, Robin, Frankie, and all the rest of the Straw Hats, along with Kokoro and Chimney and all that. So, that's how things left off, though, and actually things wind up picking up, oh boy, right with Lucci and Luffy in the midst of it, just battling, going back and forth, beating the shit out of each other. We see those naval warships that have come around now and reached the Bridge of Hesitation, and they start firing on the Bridge of Hesitation, and I mean, just completely collapse one of the supports, and then it winds up being, once the smoke kind of clears and the dust settles, so to speak, we're able to actually go and see Luffy and Lucci, and I shouldn't say we, because we see them whenever Oda wants to actually show him to us on a page, and I'm talking about we as if we were on the ship, waiting, along with the rest of the Straw Hats for Luffy to finish up kicking Lucci's ass. Now the Straw Hats can see him and have a clear view of him and are trying to cheer him on and everything else, The naval warships that are surrounding, and the thing about it that's great is they're like, come on, Luffy, hurry up, and they basically just wanted to let him know that, hey, listen, everybody's all good, we got Robin now, you don't need to worry about that, just, finish kicking Lucci's ass, concentrate on that, get the blinders on, right, and then we can leave, Zoro points out, though, he says, we're gonna have trouble just holding out until Luffy can get here. I mean, look they're surrounded by, again, these ships and thousands of men, right? So, they wind up calling in only their captains and lieutenants, their elite 200, right? And these guys start flooding onto the edge of the Bridge of Hesitation and coming down and trying to get onto the ship. And it's just kind of cool because... I just picture and I see, and I can't wait to get to it in the anime. We just started Enies Lobby recently, a few episodes into it, but just can't wait to see it because I feel like this is one of those like epic sort of action scenes in a movie, the battles raging on between these two heavyweights, Luffy and Lucci, and then you've got all of Luffy's companions over here on this ship and whatnot. They get in full view of the battle, but now they have to try to hold themselves, hold off against these 200, and you gotta remember these are elite fighters. These are, lieutenants and captains, so, I mean, they even point out, so all these guys are the rank of smoker, Now, I don't know how many of them are devil fruit users and everything else. Clearly, some of them, maybe or whatever. But even just 200 pretty decent elite fighters is certainly going to be a thorn in the side of this battle-hardened, battle war-torn crew. I mean, Chopper still can't even move, okay? Sanji winds up disappearing. I don't know where the hell he went to. He's like a freaking Houdini. He disappears and then usually seems to reappear at an important time or pull something important out. But you've got Zoro, yeah, guy's a heavyweight, he can tangle with the best of them, but 200? Come on, man. Nami does the best she can, but mostly she's just there to look cute, and navigate the ship when they're actually in the water. Nico Robin emotionally has been beaten down for a while, but I think her and Frankie still got some left in the tank. But Jesus, man, it's just cool seeing all these guys. And Zoro I just picture him like trying to hold on, just hold him off for another second. And he's popping guys left and right, throwing them off the ship, I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, Luffy and Lucci, though, man, as the battle rages on, Lucci even, he goes, it looks like you're running out of steam. It looks like your little fuel injection system is starting to wear down over there, And then he even says, he goes and he tries to taunt him, and he says, yeah, it looks like your friends are alive, they're a very hardy bunch, he says. He goes, but the thing about it is that you're not going to make it out of Ennie's lobby. That's when he says, it looks like you're slowing down and this and that. You're not even going to make it out of Ennie's lobby. And then, afterwards, even if Ennie's lobby is completely leveled to ash and dust, I'm still going to go and hunt her. I'm still going to hunt Nico Robin, that criminal, to the ends of the earth and kill her in the name of dark justice. And I'm thinking, geez, man, you take this dark justice shit just a little bit too far, Are you a couple sandwiches shy of a good picnic there? A couple of screws loose upstairs? So what the fuck? Anyway, this guy, boy, I tell you, definitely somebody you wouldn't want to get on his shit list right there. You'd rather be his friend or just not know him at all, right? Because if you're this dude's enemy, oh boy, watch out, So, hunch it to the ends of the earth. And, man, I bet you he's one of those guys that even if he got fired from CP9 and shit, he'd be one of them guys that'd still be going to be like a vigilante for dark justice and still go out and try to be like, following around CP9 and taking out their... taking on their missions and shit like that. He's one of those guys that's like, you give him a pink slip and he's just like, oh no, I'm not fired. He's like the weird guy from Office Space. Have you seen my stapler? And he's like that guy, but he's actually a formidable opponent. But man, so him and Luffy, again going at it and whatnot. Luffy goes and he gets pissed off. He doesn't want to hear that, and he goes and does jet stamp. Goes to come down on him. Lucci, it looks like, again, he's also, weakened and is taking a beating, but it doesn't appear that he's as affected by it, or at least he doesn't show it as much as Luffy is. Luffy really does look like he's running out of steam, and somebody needs to throw him, like, a side of ham or, pork loin, bacon, a big-ass steak, something, So, because all he needs is usually some meat to kind of, recharge and regenerate his powers, it seems like. But as they're going at it, and, the crew can tell, they're looking over there, especially Sniper King, can tell that Luffy is kind of losing the edge. He's losing his edge. He takes another shot from the Six King pistol towards the end of the chapter, and you're thinking, man, how many shots can this guy take? You know what I mean? This, for me, is very reminiscent of when he fought Crocodile for the third time, and I mean, he had been poisoned, and he's, he was just bloodied and beaten and on the verge of it, and he's right there for me at this point. For me, anyway, that's how I feel, But the chapter ends off with what I thought was a pretty cool moment here, because although we know as the reader, clearly, that Usopp is Sniper King, and everybody else on the crew knows that Usopp is Sniper King, except for Luffy and Chopper, right? Those are the two that they're kind of naive, or whatever you want to call them. I don't want to get into that argument right now. But the point is that Luffy doesn't know that Usopp's been there the whole time. That's something that clearly has been weighing on his mind ever since their fight and their falling out and everything else. He's referenced him and mentioned him a couple of times and then kind of tries to clam up afterwards. And Luffy's not exactly one of those people that's very forthcoming with a lot of his feelings and things like that, but you can just tell by his mannerisms and the way that he talks. Could even tell in the anime up to the part that I've watched that this is something that it's definitely weighed very heavily on Luffy's heart and his mind, So at the end of the chapter, though, right at I think the most important moment, as it looks like Luffy's about to take a turn for the worse, Sniper King goes and pulls off his mask, revealing himself clearly, obviously, as Usopp, and yelling, Luffy! And that's the part that I liked, because those are the touching moments to me, because Usopp, to begin with, put on the mask because, in my mind, he just couldn't come to grips with some of the things that had happened, but still knew that he needed to be there for his friends and for his crewmates. So he kind of took on this alter ego, this other personality, maybe to make himself feel better about himself, maybe to hide some of his feelings, maybe to hide behind that mask. There's a lot of different psychoanalytical ways to break it down. But the bottom line is that Luffy does not know until this point that Usopp is there and has been fighting alongside them the whole time in Eddie's lobby. He thought that he was gone from when they had their fight and whatnot, and back 100 chapters ago now. So I thought it was very cool and a great way to end the chapter. And I want to know what your thoughts are on that as well. So that leads into, that's where the chapter ends off, brothers and sisters. And that leads into, of course, my chapter question. And that is really, what are your thoughts on Sniper King revealing himself to Luffy to be none other than Usopp? Let me know what your answer to that question is in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will look forward to catching all of you in the next one, Nation. Thanks for watching, and please remember to take a look at my other channels.